let me ask you all about the death penalty, because we just had the terrible anniversary of Virginia Tech. Tomorrow is the anniversary of Columbine. We've seen police officers in Pittsburgh and Oakland, and we've just seen the President of the United States put on the spot in a summit in Mexico City by the President of Mexico, saying that 90% of the assault weapons that turn up in the drug wars down south of the border come from the United States, or smuggled illegally from the United States. Yet there is resistance politically to reinstating the assault weapon ban. Let me go through all of you, and perhaps Doug and Moran first to you. What would be your position on reinstituting the assault weapon ban? And as a governor, what gun control legislation would you be willing to support?
Thank you, Annie. Well, the assault weapon ban, of course, is federal legislation. I would encourage congressional delegation to support the assault weapon ban. Frankly, that has nothing to do with hunting. You know, I support the Second Amendment, but assault weapons you do not use to go hunting with other than human beings. So I would support a ban on assault weapons. In Virginia, the two issues that have been very important in the last couple of years that have been argued in the legislature is one, the gun show loophole. I believe in closing the gun show loophole. I've been a prosecutor, and what happens with this gun show loophole is those who should not have firearms are able to purchase firearms at a gun show. Those with felony convictions and those who suffer from mental illness and have been judged so. They should not have access to those firearms, and that gun show loophole allows them to purchase a gun without a background check being done. We need to close that. That's not actually a restriction or a constriction. That's just enforcing our current laws. The other issue that has come up in the legislature where Senator Deeds and I disagree is guns in bars. I do not believe guns should be in bars. I was not only that prosecutor, but I've been a bartender. Guns and alcohol don't mix. I've seen Dr. Jekyll turn into Mr. Hyde too often in a bar. They don't mix. You shouldn't allow guns in bars. I voted against that. My opponent has supported that legislation.
Senator Deeds, when you ran for Attorney General, you had the endorsement of the NRA. Would you again seek or accept the endorsement of the NRA?
Ma'am, I'll seek endorsements from anybody willing to endorse me. I'm not willing to. I'm not. Beggars can't be choosers, I guess. In the part of the state where I grew up and where I lived, the Second Amendment is held in high esteem. It's part of the Constitution. It's part, it's like everything else that people respect. As a legislator, I've always been an independent mind on these things. I voted for legislation, for example, a bunch of years ago to ban the street sweeper, which is nothing but a shotgun that's used to kill people. It's a shotgun, a repeater shotgun, without a plug. I've supported legislation I thought made sense. The bill Brian was talking about, frankly, is a technical change in the law. You can already carry a firearm into a bar and have no restriction whether you drink or not if it's unconcealed. This is a technical change. You've got a concealed carry permit. So I voted for that legislation this year. I voted for it in the past. I saw it as a minor technical change. But I was proud. You know, I will tell you, everything changed for me on April 16, 2007. The tragedy at Virginia Tech. And I met with those families, with families that lost people. You shouldn't have to bury children. And I was proud to stand with Senator Marsh and with Governor Kane and draft the language that we got out of the Courts of Justice Committee to advance the bill, advancing, closing the gun show loophole. That legislation got further than it's ever got before, and it got there because I wrote the language. I put the bill out. I'm willing to stand for it. I'm willing to lead on this issue, and I'll tell you the gun show loophole will be closed when I'm governor.
Mr. McConnell, although Doug Moran indicated that the assault weapon ban was a federal issue, but Governor Rendell, was someone you know very well, was on national television today. He's become a leading proponent of trying to push the White House to take this issue on sooner rather than later. So governors have a lot of moral suasion and political clout. What would you as governor do to try to do something about assault weapon bans and obviously the gun show loophole, which is a big issue here locally?
As governor, you should use that responsibility to push for important legislation. I think we're all in agreement on this, on the assault weapon ban. People don't need assault weapons. I agree. I've always agreed with Brian that we shouldn't be taking guns into bars. He was on that side serving them. I've been on the other side receiving them. I just don't think. probably paid for Brian and Karen's kids to go to school here. But you know, this is a very serious issue as it relates to closing down the gun show loophole. There is not an ounce of daylight, I think, between any of us on that. Dorothy and I were at Virginia Tech the other day for the memorial service. When those parents walked out into that field, the chill that would go up and down one's spine is not describable. And to think of these children who lost their lives and these professors. Now, I commend everybody who worked hard and tightened up a lot of the legislation so that we could pass medical records and everybody, if there's psychological issues involved, that information can be passed. So I commend everybody in the legislature who has worked hard on that. It's a very important step. And we need to keep going. We need to shut that gun show loophole down, and I agree with Cree and Brian, we're all together. When we're governor, no matter who it is, Bob McDonald will keep it open, the three of us will shut it down. I promise you that.